BOLD stands for Business Oriented Leadership Development. I'm Jan Murfield, and I'm proud to serve Junior Achievement of Dallas as the president. Junior Achievement, or JA, as we refer to it, is an organization that's 101 years old, and we are the business organization. Our mission is to inspire and prepare young people to succeed in a global economy, and we do that by recruiting volunteers to teach our curriculum in financial literacy, entrepreneurship, and work readiness. The BOLD Girls Summit was designed with you in mind. Girls like you who have a strong desire to broaden your horizons, spark your imagination, and expand your dreams. You've already connected through BOLD Talks, and today you'll have the opportunity to feel empowered, emboldened, and limitless. The day is filled with learning, sharing, and imagining your possibilities. This day of boldness includes vibrant students from various school districts and organizations, devoted JA volunteers, dynamic panelists, and guest speakers and successful entrepreneurs who want to share their knowledge with you. These wonderful businesswomen have volunteered their time so they can share their story to help guide and inspire you to succeed after high school. During the sessions, please engage with these women and ask them questions. We lift you up, the next generation, to learn from our mistakes and successes. You are the next generation of bold women leaders.
Great journey today. We're going to be led by some phenomenal women. I'm talking about Emmy Award winners, CEOs, founders, presidents. Can't get any better than this guest list, right? So let's see who else is tuned in today. Time to rep your school, ladies. Bold ladies, time to get this show on the road. First up in the driver's seat, somebody that's going to tell us a little bit about strength mentally and physically, CEO and co-founder of Power Hands, Danielle Sorency-Jones.
I believe bold girls can prepare for your future the moment you start trusting that inner voice that says, don't fear or doubt your abilities. You were born to do this. That voice appears when you want to run for student body president, or when you want to try out for the basketball, cheerleading, or debate team, or when you fail your first test and you allow your mind to doubt your level of intellect. That voice will define your character and it will unleash your strengths. I will never forget when I recognized my inner voice. And yes, it was as early as 5 years old when I was asked to perform a solo in Miss Cox's dance class. I didn't think that I was the best dancer in the class, nor did I think that I was the most prepared. And frankly, I wondered what my friends thought as to why I was chosen for that role. Nonetheless, I compressed those negative thoughts and I listened to the inner voice that said, you were chosen for a reason. Now it's your time to prove to yourself why, and to prove to Miss Cox and the other dancers that they can absolutely count on me to help the team shine. There are a few lessons in that moment that I carry with me throughout my life that help me judge my level of success. 1, in the midst of fear, did I lean on my strengths and execute with excellence no matter the level of the challenge? 2, did I focus on the most important thing, the mission? Not the chatter, not the doubt, not my own insecurities, but the mission. And 3, did I serve people around me and develop trusting relationships? You see, the mission, people, and excellence are 3 key critical elements that I focused on throughout my career and life. My success started with knowing my strengths. And as we walk through Strength Finder, your brain will experience aha moments that will confirm what you already know. You were born with a set of gifts that are innate. Those gifts become your strengths, and they define your leadership DNA once you invest in nurturing them. For those professionals who have accurately mapped their career, wow, I applaud them. When I think about my career mapping, I can't help but envision looking at a map. I don't know about you, but I am brilliant, but I am directionally challenged, and I cannot read a map. What I can read are the important elements of a map, like the legend and the compass, and most important, my desired location. But I would be absolutely handicapped if you asked me to map the perfect path for my career on a map. Therefore, over the last 2 decades, I focused on traveling down a path that utilized my strengths, which led to milestones that helped me gain cross-functional experience that defined who I am as a leader and exposed my purpose and the value I bring through my strengths. So here's how my career map looks. I knew education would play a role in my journey, so I'm a nerd and a student of learning. After I finished my undergrad in health service administration, I started working my first medical device company, selling radiology medical equipment and supplies in Miami, Florida. I knew I wanted to obtain an MBA, so I wrote a letter to the HR department asking them if they would help pay for my MBA. At the time, they didn't have a formal student reimbursement program, but that wasn't going to stop me from asking. So my request was approved, and I quickly started the MBA program at Florida International University while making a name for myself as a sales rep by winning contests and volunteering to serve on special committees. Well, these efforts were noticed by our chief marketing officer, who then tapped me to take my first stretch role at the age of 24 as the director of private label equipment line. This position allowed me to sit at the tables with people who were shareholders and decision makers, and started the trend of me trusting my strengths and accepting stretch roles. From that point forward, I don't remember ever accepting a role that I actually thought I was truly prepared for, but I knew my strengths would help me succeed. So I spent the next 15 years of my corporate career with Fortune 500 companies, accepting roles as product development manager, director of integrated marketing communications, director of marketing, director of sales training and development, regional sales director, director of national accounts, and being right-sized twice before I leaped into the world of being an entrepreneur. When we started Power Hands and the Power to Give Foundation in 2014, the road was one that I would have never imagined traveling. Leaving corporate America and building my own company was never on the career map as a destination. I now realize that all the stretch roles and the strengths I developed as a child, a young adult, and in my 16 years of corporate experience, it prepared me for this leadership role and helped me see my strengths as a visionary and an implementer, which allowed me to perform multiple roles and develop a team to offset my development areas. Thinking about my career as a map helped me realize that there are multiple paths that lead to my destination and that I've traveled in a direction of my fears. Every role that I accepted in sales, marketing, operations, and now as the CEO of my own company, I traveled a path that allowed me to collect experiences, to collect wisdom, and to collect lessons from my failures, and to collect my strengths and gain confidence to trust my inner voice. The most important thing you can do as a bold girl is be intentional about the transferable skills you are gaining in every aspect of your life. I believe people underestimate how you gain transferable skills. Let's look at the definition in the simplest form. Transferable skills are strengths that can be applied to any industry or job. So whether you're applying for a job as a VP of sales for the Mavericks, CMO for AT&T, district attorney, or chief of surgery of Methodist Hospital, there are specific fundamental skills that you can possess that will enable you to perform each of those jobs to a certain degree. For example, I have an MBA, I have a Wharton Marketing Leadership degree, and I've worked in the medical device industry for over 16 years. Now, I'm the CEO of Power Hands, a global athletic training and rehabilitation product tech company that enhances human performance. I didn't exactly get formal education for this position, nor can I pinpoint a former role that exactly fit this position. When I examine my career path, I can directly correlate transferable skills that have prepared me for being a CEO, such as business strategy, leadership, integrated marketing and communications, operational excellence, and product management. These are skills that I've been developing my entire life, starting when I joined my Brownies and Girl Scout troop, or when I helped lead the youth ministry at my hometown church, or when I became president of a young women's organization in high school. As a bold girl, you have many transferable skills that you can list on your resume now. Think about your roles at home, at school, in the community, with your friends, and start developing your list of skills that you can apply to a company or your own business that allows you to serve the mission, develop trusting relationships with people, and create excellence. At some point, you will be asked, what would you tell your younger self? When I'm asked that question, my answer is pretty easy. Danielle, know your worth and lean fearlessly into your gifts. I wish I had embraced those words at your age. You have the opportunity to boldly embrace your gifts and cause a heart shift in the statistics as we see them today. You will plan to be the greatest women leaders of any generation. You will recognize the 37 women CEOs of Fortune 500 companies and the 12 million women-owned small businesses have paved the way for you to accelerate your talent. You will plan to negotiate an equitable salary because you know your worth. And you will plan to develop mentors and advisors well before you start your career. You will also plan a career path that ignites a fire within you, that burns with so much purpose. No obstacle could ever extinguish it. Bold girls, plan your legacy with purpose. Lead with your strengths and make us proud. All right, let's get to work.
back, Bold Ladies. I hope you guys are enjoying this just as much as I am. All this great information getting poured into us so that we can pour it into others. Wow. So now let's talk to some women that are making their mark in the workplace, not only for being beautiful, but for being a boss and for being bold. Now let's think of some bold. Brave, optimistic, leaders that are dedicated. There's so many things that can go into being bold, right? Well, what does being bold mean to you?
Thank you so much. My name is Anna Pullen. I am a YES board member for Junior Achievement Dallas and very excited to be here today. A little bit about myself. I am a campus recruiter for Baylor Scott and White. Been there about 3 years. I absolutely love what I do, so I'm very excited to get to talk more with some other members of our panel here who also love what they do and share that with you. So I'm going to turn it over to our panelists really quickly. And if you could each introduce yourselves, tell a little bit about what you do, and then we can go ahead and get started. So Ronnie, we'll start with you.
My name is Ronnie Carrasco, and I work at the Eisman Center in Richardson, Texas. I am the Assistant Marketing and Development Manager, so I get to do social media marketing, mostly on Facebook and Instagram, and then I also do outreach, community outreach, development of programs, family education programming, so a lot of everything.
Wonderful, thank you. Cassandra?
My name is Cassandra Davis. I am a proud volunteer for Junior Achievement. I am in the real estate industry, have been a broker for over 28 years and licensed over 30. I work with buyers and sellers. I work with investors. I have done some work in commercial. I primarily specialize currently in residential. I am also a Texas Realtors instructor, where I teach real estate courses all over Texas and in interstates as well, but primarily Texas. Continuing education.
Wonderful. Thank you guys both for sharing. It's definitely going to be an interesting panel today. I know everyone will be excited to hear more from you. So let's take it back a few years. Why don't we start with Ronnie? Tell me, what did you want to be when you were first, in middle school and in high school, and how does that connect to where you are right now?
So I wanted to be a singer when I grew up. I loved singing. Kelly Clarkson was just on American Idol. So it was just a huge thing. And I knew that I wanted to perform. I took lessons. I was in choir. I took piano lessons. I took leadership positions in choir and theater. And then I got to college and I didn't know what I wanted to do, really. I wanted to obviously still sing, but I needed to make money and get a degree because my parents told me I had to. So I was a choir director. I started at Dallas County Community College, and I went to community college for 2 years to try to figure out what I liked. I still loved music education, and I loved learning about music and choir even more than in high school. And so I sought out to get a Bachelor's of Science in Music Education at A&M Commerce, so Lucky Lions. After I graduated, I was teaching middle school for 8 years. And I guess in year 3 or 4, I thought, I want to do something else. I still love to sing. I love to, I started realizing I loved being in the leadership position, hosting events. I loved choir parties. I loved recruiting people to join. And so I just used those skills to start looking into a master's degree, which I received online from Colorado State. Go Rams. So it's in arts leadership and cultural management. So I'm still kind of working to what my degree or whatever I'm going to become when I grow up. But right now I'm just kind of in the process. So I didn't think I would be here, but at the same time, I kind of knew that, obviously I'm in a performance hall right now. So yeah, I get to still sing and do what I love and help others. So
that's wonderful. I love that. Thanks for sharing. Cassandra, why don't you tell us a little bit about, what you wanted to do in middle school, high school, or previous, and how does that relate to where you are right now?
Well, I'm kind of like Ronnie. I think it's just an evolution, and we are constantly rebranding as we discover more of what what's important to us, what our priorities are. And so in middle school, I wanted to be a lawyer. And then when I got in high school, I wanted to be in politics. And none of that to me worked out, but real estate kind of encompasses both of those because you are working with people and you are helping them solve one of the most important things that's in their family, and that's shelter. And so I feel like that's part of it. And I may still go to law school. I went back to college in my mid 50s to finish up my master's, and I too have my MBA from Texas A&M Commerce. I studied in Beijing, China, so I did take advantage of their study abroad program. But yes, I feel like it's never too late. It's never too late to realize your dreams.
Always time to go back and figure out, what more you love, what more, how you can grow from that too. So thank you both. Looking at, what your path and everything, with everything you've been doing, real estate, thinking about law, singing, performance, there's a whole lot of, an aspect of perfection in that. So how do you deal with that idea of, needing to be perfect, and how do you deal with that basically? Cassandra, do you want to start?
Needing to be perfect is one thing, and doing your absolute best is the other. And I'm still plagued with perfection. I think we all are. But when you bring your best, at that moment, that is perfect. That's all we can ask of ourselves, is to do our best. And so I just make sure that I'm prepared.
I love that. Ronnie, do you want to share anything?
Yeah, I love that as well, Cassandra, because I think sometimes we are our own worst enemy, especially like doing things new. I never would expected in a million years that all of a sudden a performing arts facility can't have anyone. And I know whenever I first started creating videos and creating projects and things that were completely out of the normal, I was getting so upset with myself for several reasons, because one, it wasn't perfect. But then also I was getting upset with people who were helping me, because I was taking their, not their criticisms, but like, hey, you forgot to add music, or do you think, or there are things that they were adding that would have actually made them better. And I was looking at it as they're not accepting it the way it is. They must not think it's perfect. They must not like it. They must not like me. And I think that we can get into a really downward spiral of what is perfect. And when you plan and when you prepare and when you do your best, I think, Cassandra, you're so spot on, where that is perfect. That is the best you can be. And, nothing is going to be perfect, because it's always going to be better. It's just a progression.
Kind of flipping it a little bit, thinking about your careers. Do you think there have been any challenges, or what challenges have you faced specifically because you're female in your careers? And I'll start with Ronnie.
When I was a teacher, and I still do this, I would wear taller shoes, because I felt that because I was shorter than most of the students, or because I was just like a smaller in stature, I looked so like, oh, so nice, that I had to be bigger. I had to wear taller shoes. I had to kind of give myself a present that shows that I'm here to work hard, but I'm also here to be respected and to respect others as well.
So do you feel like you have faced any challenges in your career specifically because you're a female?
Yes, I have. I can remember a situation where It was an asset of several million, and everyone on my team was male. And they gave me the more complicated job of doing the due diligence study, which took about 6 months to do. And so that was very challenging, and I believe they expected more from me than even the other team members. So what I find, not only being male, but also, not only being female, but also African American female, just there's so much that's expected of us, because let's look at it. Regardless of your race, when you're female, and my advice on that is, sure, there's a lot expected of a female. Sure, you may be treated differently, but it's going to go back to that question you asked previously. Do your best. If you are moved by emotion, do that when you get home. Don't do that in front of your peers. Be prepared, be professional, and wear female professionalism proud.
As we look at these students, these girls who are trying to figure out, what is that going to be later on for them in life? I want to hear from you both. What's your favorite part about your job? What do you love about it? Why do you, get excited to go to work every day? Cassandra, I'll start with you.
I love my job. I've always loved real estate. I said earlier, I believe real estate is a phenomenon. It's the number one way that we create wealth in this country and in any country. Owning property is important. I think what I enjoy more is teaching young people about real estate and the economy. So I always talk about supply and demand. And I help them understand what's going on right now. I always call it the now, no ordinary world. Even in the middle of a pandemic, we're in a strong seller's market. And what does that mean when you have high demand and low supply? I talk about the whole pricing curve. And I talk about the importance of value and what value means. And so Anna, I have a course that I talk about the UVP, your unique value proposition. And I say we all have that. I don't care what your job is. I don't care what you're doing in your community. As realtors, I always say we're important in the community because we know real estate. And real estate is about our neighborhoods. It is about our communities. But when you talk about value and what you're bringing to anything, whether it's a transaction, whether it's to your job, or as Ronnie was saying, to the arts, it's that value, your personal value, that differentiates you from someone else. We're just all unique. And as unique beings, we bring something special to everything that we do. And so I get excited about teaching about uniqueness and value. Those are my things.
Love that. And Ronnie, what do you love about your job?
I love that every day is different. This morning I'm here talking with you, and then later I'm going to make music instruments that I found on Pinterest and paint them and make a video out of them, and then edit and, create these videos that I'm going to post later on social media. But then tomorrow will be completely different, and I'll have to edit surveys and read surveys and create some digital artwork that could be used. It's just, I like the challenge of every day being different, but I also like the opportunities and the flexibility that this job offers me. I can be on a call for junior achievement for an hour or two, a couple of days a week. Whereas I can also, I'm an ambassador for the chamber. So when new businesses come to town, I can leave and go be at a ribbon cutting for a little bit and then come back. So my job, I'm always getting to be out and about and a part of the community. And I like being all over the place.
Good to have some variety in your career and in your everyday life. I love that. It's really important that whatever organization, or if you're an entrepreneur yourself, whatever you're doing is aligned to your own core values, and making sure that you align to the mission of the organization that you're joining. So thinking through, how do you figure out if a new company is right for you? How did you look at where you wanted to work? How did you pick your own company and make sure that it was a good spot for you? Ronnie, I'll start with you.
I had heard about the Eisman Center. I had actually performed at the Eisman Center in high school, but it was never on my radar. As I was getting my master's degree, you have to do certain internships, and you have to look at different for my degree, you have to really get yourself active in the community, in the profession, as you're earning your degree, which is so smart. And so I interned at the Eisman Center, and it was because I met someone who their mother worked here. I just went up to her one day at a wedding, at her son's wedding. And it's like, well, my name's Ronnie, and I want to be you one day. And I just put myself in the position of, that's a performing arts facility. That's exactly what I want to do. I found this job because I had my ears open and I was eager to talk to the right people. I know we were going to talk about how just being an entrepreneurship is where, I was like, well, if we're not going to have any entertainment and we can't bring anyone in the building, I'm the only talent they can afford at the Eisman. So I had to start, looking at music lessons and what can I give to the Eisman Center? What can I be for us to continue to serve our mission?
That's a good one. I think when opportunity knocks, like Ronnie was saying, you just have to be prepared. And I think every opportunity we have just prepares us for our next journey, whatever that will be. And so I'm quite a bit older than Ronnie is. And so I started in real estate back when interest rates were 16% and Abby Holiday was still alive. The way I decided, and the reason why I decided to go to work with Abby Holiday in the very beginning, was because I love the fact that she was a female entrepreneur. And she had a way of just remembering you. She wouldn't see me a lot, but when she did, she knew my name. And that was so important to me. And so I got into real estate. A lady heard me bossing my friends around at a restaurant and asked me, had I thought about getting into real estate, that I would be good at it. When you look at the arts, and when you look at real estate, and when you look at entrepreneurship, they all kind of encompass some of the same values, and that is people. You're in the people business. And I like being in the people business.
What other advice do you have for maybe someone who wants to start their own career as a realtor, start their own business? What would you say to them?
Have a budget. Anytime you're going to go into business for yourself, you have to have a budget. You need to have a plan. And I encourage people to not look at real estate as broadly as what it is. I could spend 2 hours talking about opportunities in real estate, since over 40% of the jobs on the planet are related to real estate. Having a niche, having a specialty, you just can't be good at everything, Anna. Whatever your thought process is about how you're better at something, then you need to develop that and develop it into a specialty. Something that you do. So that's what we do as entrepreneurs. I stay in my lane. I don't try to go do things that I know I don't rock at. I don't need to be good at it. I need to be best at it. I need to rock it to the point to where people say, wow, she's really good at that. And when they think of my name, they think she's good at real estate, but specifically in this area. She specializes. in this area. That's my advice.
And Ronnie, I know you wear a lot of different hats in your current job, and you probably had to, I know you've made some adjustments since 2020 and the pandemic has happened too. So just with everything you've done, what advice would you give someone who wants to be in a position like yours or follow a similar direction?
I think being patient is probably the most important, whether that be patient with yourself for maybe not, being the best right away, being patient with others because, everyone is in a really rough situation. I can't imagine what my, the operating supervisor has to think, where I could easily think, well, they're not answering my emails right away, but I could, on the flip side, they could be having to write the email that, hey, you're not going to have a job, or, I think just looking at the bigger picture and realizing that there's so much going on. Where can you fit in and where can you be the best? Where is that niche? Where is that thing that makes you so special that you can help everyone by doing that one really special thing, and just asking for help and appreciating help, I think has really just been the most rewarding thing and also eye-opening in so many aspects.
Yes, definitely an important thing. Not being afraid to ask for help. It's not a sign of weakness to ask for that help. It's going to only help you grow. So thank you for sharing that. Thinking about, these students, these girls who maybe their future, they might want to be a leader one day. That's something we all probably strive for or, think about. What characteristics, if there's one specifically that you really think a leader should possess? Cassandra, I know you're a leader in your career, in your business, your own business. So what characteristics do you think is the most important or most vital for you or for, someone that you would want to work for?
Well, I think we're all leaders to a certain extent. One of the things I always say is when you're looking at yourself internally, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses, and what opportunities are out there that you can seize? Because we always have opportunities. And what are some of the things? I hate to even use the words threats. We do have things that kind of set up barriers for us, but how do we overcome those barriers? So I would say the very first thing is to do your SWOT, know who you are, know what you are bringing, and then ask yourself, why do you want to be a leader in the first place? Okay. Are you wanting to be a leader in your family? Are you a leader in your community? Are you one of the leaders at church? Do you serve on your alumni board? Start by being a giver in your community, and that will lead to other leadership opportunities. Leaders are nothing but givers. That's what we are. We're givers and we're servers. That's what leaders do. So it's not as glamorous as you may think it is.
It's very true. It's a good way to look at it. You're a giver, you're a server, and it's not just leader. Ronnie, anything you'd like to add with that as well?
Yeah, I think Cassandra just saying, looking in, my word would have been integrity. Are you doing the right thing when no one is watching? And that goes along with, morals, but it also, as a business owner, there's a lot of things that you do not want to do. I'm sure, doing your taxes and all the accounting, if you're not a money person, you like to make money, but if you don't care about all those in between things, that makes a difference.
Yeah, one of the things said leads to that question as well, because when you're looking at integrity and you're looking at your values, that's how you develop a mission statement. And that mission statement, every leader should have that in their business. And in any endeavor that you do, what is your mission? And most of the time, that mission is going to point back to service. You will have, incredible service in their superior service. You see that all the time in these mission statements.
Wonderful. Thank you both. As we kind of wrap up here, I know I've definitely enjoyed hearing more about your careers, your growth, obstacles or challenges you've faced, but what final piece of advice would you want to give our audience today? Ronnie, I'll start with you.
Say get involved. Get involved in, we've listed so many opportunities that you can get involved in your community, in your youth group, and your school. All of those really build the foundation of what you can achieve. And I think that it also builds on those characteristics and qualities of yourself that you might not even know you have. I didn't realize that I was going to one day be a leader of a choir organization as I was, sitting in the sectional, getting my little high school friends on board or on task. I didn't realize that when I was planning all those plays and getting everyone's costumes ready, that I would eventually be, making sure everyone was okay. I think it's those things that you get involved in, and sometimes you realize it's not what you want to do, but you learn. So you can only learn by doing. So get involved.
Wonderful. It's definitely good advice for these students. Cassandra, what advice would you want to give our students today?
Set your goals. Set your goals. Share your goals. And that means do not be afraid to fail. We have to fail in order to really get clarity. We may start out and stumble, get our nose all bloodied up. That's okay. Continue to make relationships along the way. This is a beautiful journey, but keep in mind, we choose. We're not always chosen. Okay, but we have to choose what opportunities we're going to take. And we have to choose to do the very best we can in everything that we choose to do. That's my advice.
I love that. I know that's advice that I'm going to definitely take to heart from both of y'all. So thank you for sharing. And thank you for being here today. I know this is definitely a great opportunity for students and our panel here to learn more about what there is to do whenever they grow up. So I appreciate you both, and thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you.